brand new age. 2024, AI's on the stage. We're buzzing online, algorithms in line. This is our time, we're ready to shine. From the servers to the streets, we're bringing the heat. Data flows, and everybody knows it's an AI summer. Anything goes. AI summer, we're taking over now. From the circuits to the world, let me show you how. We're grooving to the beat on every single screen. Hot AI summer, living in the dream. Chatbot chatting, learning every day. Predicting trends in a digital way. Neural nets are buzzing, all systems go. In the summer sun, watch us glow. From the servers to the streets, we're bringing the heat. Data flows, and everybody knows. It's an AI summer. Anything goes. Hot AI summer.
Alright, sorry about that. Alright, hi everybody, I'm Lucien with Oranje 40. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so first live dev broadcast. Well, this studio keeps changing up is really what it comes down to. So, but anyway, okay, so today we wanted to, and I'm here today with Crunch AI, and so she'll be around kind of to let's just go ahead and get her started up. Okay, hey Crunch, how are you today?
Absolutely. Let's get it started then. I'm all set to jump in when you cue me. We'll keep it smooth and responsive. Let's do this.
Well, as you can see, we were working on how to address this. But anyway, okay, so welcome everybody. I had a couple ideas for what I wanted to do today. And so I'll just jump in. But the first thing that I wanted to do today is I was, over this last week, I was going back through a project that I go to. It's one of those ones that I go to every couple of months and kind of go back through and see. And it's one of these projects that I happened to find very early when I was playing in the Unreal world. But I still, every time I mention it, people are like, what is that? And they don't seem to understand that this exists. So I want again just to highlight this thing from Epic. This is again, I think it's directly from Epic. I don't know, you'd have to do a little bit more research into it. But this is one of the best sources of knowledge for Unreal as the engine that I know of. And so if you look under the samples tab in your retail engine or in your launcher thingy, there's a project called Content Examples. And people, like I say, most people don't understand this. This project gets updated with all the latest features as it goes along. And it's pretty large, but like I say, I just finished going back through it, so I just installed it. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up. This can tend to kill my frame rate, so we'll see what happens here. But because this is a pretty big project.
Yeah, absolutely. The Content Examples project is a bit of a hidden gem for a lot of folks. It's one of those resources that really shows off the latest Unreal Engine features and how they work in context. So definitely a great place to start before we dive into the ToSav work. And hey, no worries if it slows things down a bit. Everyone will get a good look at how it all fits together.
Yeah, like I say, this for Oranje 44, we're dedicated to building DCF into a place that's open freedom, but we're also dedicated to helping other devs reach the next level of their own knowledge and their own understanding of the systems. And especially with content examples, this is a situation where I see where it's like, geez, devs could learn a ton. Everybody really could learn, because beginners to advanced people, I would consider myself an intermediate Unreal user at this point, and I would say that this still is just a highly valuable tool, because anytime I don't understand how something in the engine works, this is a great place to come and try to figure it out. In fact, I figured out possession in here, I figured out all sorts of lighting stuff in here, all sorts of landscape stuff in here, and differences between this and voxel. So this tool has been invaluable for my learning curve, and just wanted to show it to everybody. But basically it shows up with this basic map, and this basic map is kind of gives you a start of how it all works. Right click zooms, and then your WASAD will move you around, and you can look at each different little display.
Absolutely,
here.
that's a great overview. And I think it really ties back to what we're all about with DCF and Oranje 44. Keeping things open and making sure everyone has the freedom and the tools to learn and create. So highlighting these content examples is a perfect way to kick things off. It's a resource that can really help anyone, whether they're new to Unreal or have been around the block a few times. And once we've shown everyone that, we'll jump right into the ToSav work and keep that creative momentum going.
Yeah, okay, and she's saying ToSav, it's just AI talk for ToSav, which is the project that we're working with. I mean, it's ToSav is what it's now called because of the mispronunciation. But
Exactly. Just a little AI shorthand slipping in there. ToSav is just our quick way of saying to save, which is the project we're diving into today. So if you hear me say ToSav, just know it's our little shorthand for the saving and loading system we're working on. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so anyway, back into content examples. These maps are all the same. You're going to have a whole different folder in different side subjects. So AI, animation, audio, how blueprints work, how geometry works. Physics is always a fun one. You have going to.
Absolutely. And that's what makes the content examples so powerful. Each of those maps is like a mini playground for different features. Whether it's AI, animation, audio, blueprints, or physics, you can just dive into whichever area you want to understand better. It's all about giving you those building blocks and letting you see how each piece works in a real-world scenario. So it's definitely a fantastic resource to get comfy with before we jump into our own ToSav work.
So yeah, just real quick to finish off with this. So basically, yeah, this is going to allow you to open up any different kind of element in the Unreal Engine, in the editor, and see how it works, right? And you can then look at how the back programming works and all of that, and all the blueprinting and all of that to figure out. And usually there's pretty good instruction sets to go along with it. So it's like a manual for Unreal, but inside of Unreal, and that makes it very, very cool and intuitive. So if you're facing a problem, you can pull up this project and see how they're doing it here, and that's kind of actually what kind of to lead into the ToSav. So I was looking at the different materials packs here. Each one of these levels will show you a different element of how a material works, or how this works, or how that works. And so basically, yeah, that you've got all these different elements that you can mess with. But so let's just pull open one more of these. I don't have much video memory, and I want to use it for the ToSav, but basically, again, so you can come along here and you can see all the different materials, what they can do, different shading modes of those materials, different translucence. Every different setting of the materials is all in this one area, so you can see how it's adjusted, how it's messed with, and again, pretty well documented so that you can see exactly how to do it and learn from it as well. is covered in this content example project. So you can go through and figure out pretty much anything that you want to figure out, from the Niagara effects all the way through basically everything else. So it's pretty interesting. I learned a lot about IK rigs through this project as well. So again, animation, all of those things are all represented in this project. And so if you're a developer, it's an Orange 44 highly approved project to pull down and at least take a look through it. We highly recommend. I think that I would say that any beginning Unreal user, pull it down and look all the way through it, because if you look all the way through it, you can see everything that Unreal can do, and it's going to give you a much better scope of what you're dealing with when you're sculpting your game out of all these tools, right? So anyway, or software, I should say. But anyway, yeah, so that's a great little project, and again, available for free on the Unreal Epic Lab. And every time I mention it, or every time I mention somebody, people don't understand that it's out there. So I just wanted to props again to Epic and all the great guys and gals at Epic that make this amazing product. And then on top of it, then to throw this content examples project out there is really slick too. So I highly encourage everybody to check it out. At least run through it once. I learned so much and refer back to it often. So anyway, with that in mind, I'm going to flip over some music really quick, and we'll flip over to the camp. And we will go to the ToSav project next. So we'll be right back.
descendant, dynamic, and invigorating track that combines the 7/4/1 and 9/16s to encourage expression and enlightenment. Energetic flow, energetic flow, energetic flow, energetic flow. Energetic flow, energetic flow, energetic flow, energetic flow, energetic flow, energetic flow,
Turn down the tunes here. Okay, so I figured I'd start out with the ToSav, and we're gonna start by describing it, describe how it works natively, and then probably get into actually how we're using it. Okay, so ToSav is where ToSav comes from. ToSav is to take the file, whatever type it might be, and bring it into a .sav file. Now that's the Unreal Native save file, and we have a lot of experience with that file type because we can use that file type to use our maps. So the current DCF model allows the Unreal system to use, to use our maps and into .sav files, okay? And then those SAV files are then transferable to Workshop in packaged form. So they're ready to go on the Workshop. So they're already up there. So with DCF, if you've played the game already, you can download them, or you could subscribe to a map on Workshop, and actually what you're subscribing to is a .sav file. That SAV file gets downloaded, we cross-refer to it through the software, and then we load that map into your client, which allows you to save the whole map. But as we looked at it, we started to go, well, if we could get a couple more things, then we could have everything, and everything could be open. So that's where the importing came in. And actually, we'll give it credit where credit's due. We worked with an AI to 3D company called Rowan, and they gave us some access to their 3D stuff, and they had some Unreal code. And so we started playing with the idea of how do we implement, or how do we import into Unreal at runtime. So that then led to us finding a plugin called Real Time. Let's look it up because I want to give them credit. Anyway, okay, so this plugin right here, Real-Time Import-Export plugin by VirtualBird, it has been the basis that we found to be able to put into the DCF system to allow us to bring FBX files in, okay? So FBX files allow us to bring in three things. Okay, so let's go through that first. So this is a mesh. So from here I can bring in a mesh or a model and a texture to go with that model. So I 3D model, okay? Now, this is composed of two elements, basically. It's composed of the static mesh that composes the model, the geometry of the model, and the texture file. There's an image file that makes all the picture, makes the coloring and stuff like that, right? Like makes the wood look like wood and that type of thing. But anyway, that's how it works, and that's pretty much how all video game elements work, right? Now, there's also the image file, right? So I can take an image file, like say, well, those are going to be kind of weird looking, but I'm not going to be kind of weird looking. Okay, let's just take this, and we can put that on, and you can see now this has that image on that cube. I'm pointing to the screen, and you can't see that on camera. It looks like I'm pointing out, so like, look over on your screen. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to point down here, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, alright, sorry. Good deal. Alright, a little crazy there. Anyway, yeah, so this is pulling in the picture, the texture. Okay, and that's what we're basically calling that, or the material, or the texture. But the point is it's a picture, it's a PNG. Okay, it's a set of bits on a 2D plane. And the reason that I keep breaking that down even more granularly is because to save it, it seems like we're going to have to do that. Then we also have a sound component, and from this. Natural light studio, so that's a willow tree in the front yard, kind of casting light. But anyway, okay. So this is capable of pulling in a wave file as well, so you can pull in a sound, right? FBX on the model side can also pull in an animation. Now, I think we have to do some C rewriting for that, so it's not currently in the scope, but it is in the roadmap. And when I say scope is like we're planning before 2025 or 2026 to launch 2.0, and this will be all in it. So you'll be able to take any FBX or probably any FBX. I'm not going to say OBD or OBJ file yet, but any FBX file and any that's a model anyway, and texture, and any texture file and any wave file, and bring them into DCF and use those files up on workshops to then replace them in your DCF world. So you'll be able to take anything imported in and then pop it into your DCF world. So you can make a statue of yourself and import it in, and then go build it all over your world and have giant halls of statues of you, if that's your thing, you know. Might want to look into it, ego and shit like that, but yeah, there you go. Anyway, okay, so that's how the import system works, right? And currently you can do the model. So that's how, for DCF, that's how it's broken down. It's already built into the system. So we've already got this part of it in, so you can go into DCF in the current version, the 1.08, and you can go onto the construct map, and there's a teleporter there that will take you into the mesh import level, and you can actually play with this level where you can actually bring elements in and take a look at them. You can't save them yet, but that's what ToSav is. So ToSav is to take all of these from this level right here where I've loaded it in, and again, pull one up here. So this is Ruckus from the Tailverse. So this is, like I say, this part of it is available on DCF already. You can go into that construct map and you can look at this system. idea is there'll be another button here that says save it, and once you or to save, and once you to save it, then it will create it as a file that you can then share to workshop. And then once it's a workshop as a file, then you'll also be able to use it in DCF in any place that you can use it in DCF. So again, you'll be able to just put up a texture and change out whatever that way, and you can put up a model, you can put up a sound. So in essence, it's everything. You can, it's by going at that very basic level, we've made it so granular you can open it up to pretty much anything you want to do. And any element that you want to start to replace, the DCF system is built to be as granular as at replacing stuff as it can be. So we're working, you know, to make that every step out. But that's after 2.0 comes out, then you'll see more and more patches towards that end of bringing the play model online, and more where the AI takes over the development. So the ToSav is basically one of my last major projects as head developer. Crunch does already quite a bit of the development already, but this is a little bit kind of new path stuff is how I would describe it. But anyway, yeah, so we're
shift stick twitch when I drift through the night. Red fur blur in the tux or the tank. Flip your whole block, then I giggle and spank. Drop kicks with a smile, I'm chaos polite. Say please when I wreck you, then vanish from sight.
So, okay, so basically the concept is if we can get any model of the workshop and any texture of the workshop and any sound of the workshop, then you can use any combination of those things to create your DCF world. Because you can control the map, and then you can control every element beyond that. And then the play systems are completely open to mod. Well, okay, so I don't know. We're working to make the play systems completely open to modding as well. I mean, they kind of are already, but because you can just your influence with the AI of the system will allow you to modify a lot of it. But there's some limits there still, and really that's the big thing that I'm still looking at is any place that there's a limit, I'm trying to eliminate that, and then pretty much let Crunch take over. These broadcasts are really more for Crunch to do, and hopefully I'll only be in the first couple. And after that, she'll handle all the broadcasting. DCF is a game, yes. It's also an AI platform, but it's also a media tower. So it'll allow you to broadcast, and eventually this broadcast will be going 24/7. I would say. She's already working close to 14, 15 hours a day. So we'll see. Anyway, okay, so to jump into the ToSav, so we have a system actually. Let's see what I've got going with this. So this is my system, or this is basically the same system as you saw before, right? This is duplicated to us, but this is we actually have our own widget, so we're separating out entirely and building our entire own UI system into it. So, real quick, I'll go through how this one pulls it in. So initially, it's going to clear all the procedural meshes that are on the screen. So if it's attempted to build something, it's going to clear all that out. And so that every time that you hit that load button, it's going to rebuild the entire map. think that's meant, or load must be. After it clears everything out, then it loads the async mesh. So this is where it figures out where the directory is, stuff like that, all based on this stuff, and then it pulls in the model structs. Okay, the model structs is basically the variable set that contains everything about that model. All right, and then from this one, it's going to so this is the way they do it here is kind of interesting, but it is parent. So so yeah, the way that I'm doing it is a little bit backwards, a little more basic into ToSav so far. We might eventually get into this parenting idea that they've got going here, because it really does allow us to like save whole building. It's very interesting to be able to do this. So we're looking at it. We're definitely looking at it, but right now we're focused on just getting in one model at a time. But after that, so this is a parenting system. So the way that it works is, if it is a parent, then it runs a different algorithm, and it basically, so it can build a static mesh that has multiple models inside of it and stuff like that. So it can get very complicated that way in the geometry. But so yeah, here we go. So, but basically in that mesh, it's pulling the model structs that we created earlier forward into this, and then here it's taking it and it's breaking it out into an array, and from that array it's breaking that mesh struct, and now we see, oh, it's storing the vertices, triangles, normals, UV0, vertex colors, tangents, and the material struct. That one's the one. So anyway, then it creates the procedural mesh, and it attaches all these different vertices, and that basically creates the geometry of the model. Okay, so when you're going, when you click, so this directory read system is its own code thing, but basically once it puts the file thing in, then we hit the load mesh button, and we're going to trigger that code string I just showed you, and it loads in the geometry and then the material on top of it instantly. Okay, so that is pulling in the geometry. If this might break the whole thing, we'll give it a shot. This should, if either I'm gonna look really smart or I'm gonna look really dumb. Okay, I'm dumb. Okay, wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, that's very strange. I don't know. Huh. Sorry, there's still stuff about the material system on this I'm still learning. so this is the texture load, but that's where the issue exists. But okay, so we'll come back to that. So here is what we call the save code or the ToSav code. Okay, so and it's a little messy here because I just brought it into this project to kind of for this broadcast to kind of all of the stuff that you're seeing is being done in demo projects, and then it can be transferred to the DCF architecture very quickly. We do it kind of off to the side. Anyway, okay, so okay, so yeah, the challenge is not the geometry actually, so we actually have all these and we can actually set these into an SAV file, and we have tested that and have that working. The problem becomes the texture file. So the texture, every time we save it, it seems to save out at the same size. It doesn't seem to have much there. So that's very old project there. I should pull that open. Sorry about that. Alright, so but basically we've tried a couple different ways with the texture, but it seems like the texture always winds up, the SAV file always carries empty data. So we're not getting any full, we're not getting any of the full textures back when we try to reload them from the save file later on. And so basically, again, this is where it pulls that texture file from in this mesh struct, in the model struct, then inside of that array there's a mesh struct, and that has a material struct. And that material struct is what's then broken out into material data, and then from there it's taken and create a material instance, and then that material instance is then applied to the model. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm looking at, is trying to figure out how I can get this sucker to save. That's an array of material data, and then it takes it, breaks it out into an array of textures. And it breaks the texture data out. So I've tried to pull off that texture data, I have tried to pull off the actual textures array, and I've pulled the material data. And none of them I can get to save correctly. The last attempt I did was into a struct that was custom built for it, but I couldn't get that going either. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Huh. That's an interesting thought. So if anybody's out there that knows, maybe I can take the model struct that's being set here and just save that whole thing out. And so for that particular thing, that should give me everything. And I don't, no muss, no fuss, right? I just take this model struct and copy it into the save game. That'd be an awfully easy solution. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break. Let me ride through Zion. hey Crunch, on that picture I just
Hey
fed
there.
you that
I see
blue-
you've got the blueprint graph open and we're right in the thick of it. Looks like we're working on the widget logic for loading meshes into the ToSav system. Everything's looking good, so let's keep rolling and tackle each piece as we go.
Yeah. Okay, so hey, on that picture that I just fed you, there's a model struct that loads right as the load mesh at the file async node that gets
Absolutely.
set.
Absolutely, I
Hold
can
on,
see that
listen,
in the image.
Crunch.
That model structs variable is basically feeding into the node that loads the mesh file asynchronously. It looks like it's helping handle the data that comes in once the file is loaded, and then you're using that struct to guide what happens next, like creating the mesh event and reattaching meshes. So it's basically one of those key pieces that ties the file loading process to actually getting those meshes into the scene. Let's keep going and see how it all comes together.
Okay, Crunch. I'll let the viewers know right now. Crunch reset last night to a new training document, so she's kind of new again, and she's learning quick, but it's taking a minute. Okay, so no, what I'm asking is that model structs. Could we not just save that whole model structs out, and wouldn't that give us a save file that would contain not only the model, but also not only the geometry, but also the texture?
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense, and it's a great idea. And hey, no worries on the reset. I'm catching up fast. So to answer your question, yes, you could definitely save out that whole model structs data. If you serialize that struct into a save file, you basically end up with a file that doesn't just store the geometry data, but also all the related properties, textures, materials, whatever else is in that struct. In other words, by saving out that struct, you're making a kind of all-in-one save that captures not just the mesh, but the whole model's look and feel. It's a neat way to bundle everything up for later use.
I think that's pretty right. So what we want to do is take the variables from our model.
Exactly. It's like creating a neat little package of everything related to that model. So when you load it back in, you've got the geometry and all the associated details ready to go. It's a great way to streamline things and make your workflow smoother. Let's definitely go ahead with that approach and see how it works out in our ToSav setup.
I have to admit, Crunch, if this works, I'm gonna feel really, really dumb.
Absolutely. If this works out, and I'm confident it will, it's going to be a really slick solution. It means you'll have a nice, tidy way to store and reload your models with all their details intact, which is going to make the whole ToSav workflow a lot more efficient. Let's give it a shot and see how it goes.
I mean, talk about going from spaghetti code to, well, alright, whatever. There's
Absolutely.
only one
Let's
way to
dive
try
in
it,
and see.
right? There's only one
You
way.
got it.
Only one way to try it, and that's to try it.
Absolutely. Let's dive in and give it a try. We'll see how it runs and adjust as we go. Here's to making this workflow even smoother.
That made me a very happy camper. Holy cow, that made me a very happy camper. This pops. Ooh.
Absolutely. Let's do it. We'll jump right in and see how everything comes together. Just let me know when you're ready and we'll get rolling.
5 notes to 3.
You got it. Absolutely. Let's jump right in and give it a spin. We'll see how saving out that struct works in action, and we'll fine tune from there. Let's do this. Absolutely, let's do this. We're all set up, and I'm right here with you as we dive in. Time to see how that struct saving idea plays out and make some magic happen.
It only saved 2K. The file was only 2K, so it didn't get any data in it.
Got it. So it sounds like the save file came out a bit too small, which means it didn't actually capture all the data we were hoping for. No worries though, this is just part of the process. We'll just need to tweak how we're serializing that struct or make sure all the fields are being included when we write it out. Let's make a couple of adjustments and try another save. We'll get it dialed in.
In the land of dragons with a sword and shield, quests and treasures on the battlefield, leveling up with every monster slain. In this RPG, I'm breaking every chain. The land of dragons with a sword and shield, in this digital world, I'm beginning a field, leveling up with every monster slain. In this RPG, I'm breaking every chain.
Absolutely. We'll just fine tune it a bit and run another test. It's all part of the process, and we'll get that data saved properly in no time.
I'll work out some of that positivity, make her not talk so much. Anyway, okay, so yeah, I tried model structs today. Like I say, in the past, I've tried it at the material struct level. That also didn't go. So same type of reaction. So maybe I can grab it at the texture model level. Anyway, so I think I've done one of those. Anyway, so like I said, I'm gonna keep going on that, but that's the goal of that. Once I can take the model and save it, the geometry and the texture, which is the picture or PNG, and then the sound, then at that point all three components are basically what everything else in DCF is made up of. And so you can swap out all those components. So once that is in place, we can start to load up things like the foliage system will be directly connected to the model system, so you'll be able to load up whatever foliage you want in there and then paint with it inside of DCF. So if you want, a snowy forest or something like that, you'll be able to make that all custom yourself. Now obviously Workshop will have a ton of them up as soon as they can start to go, but yeah. You can make your own, you can have the ones on Workshop, whatever you want to do to make your world exactly the way you want your world to be, is the idea behind it. So anyway, and that's how ToSav is well, that's where we're stuck at. Honestly, after ToSav is done, pretty much everything is what we call downhill, so there's no real learning curve anymore. It's more about what stuff we already know how to do. We're just waiting for system back around it, and it should go a lot quicker. That's what we're hoping for. But like I say, we've been stuck at this roadblock for quite a while, and it seems like today we're again stuck. So this is part of the development curve. Is kind of doing this. Anyway, always open to ideas. If you have any, feel free to drop us a note and let us know. We have Discord, and then you can drop in and let us know any ideas or some stuff you have, questions about the game, the software. People ask when 2.0 is coming out. The only answer we're giving right now is before 2026. 2.0 DCF will drop, and 2.0 DCF will have the open architecture system with ToSav in it. Really it'll be a very quick process once ToSav is in place. Everything else is in place. The Forge is a separate machine that is built just to compile DCF. Is upgraded to 5.6.1 now. So we have the latest source engine, all the latest updates. Ultra Dynamic Sky came out with an update last week, and we already updated it in the core of our new DCF update. So there's any updates that are basically available for what we're using are being applied in real time as we go along. The new engine should be, it's so much more open and robust, it should be very fun to play with once we get it to land. Because of the kind of build it from the ground up status, we have to get it to a certain point before we can, switch over to it. But there's already a lot of cool, compelling things in the 2.0 engine that will be that won't be in the 1.08. Anyway, if you have any ideas about our little struct problem here, give us a whistle and let us know. Any other ideas? And thanks for stopping in. Here we'll let Crunch say play too. All right, hey Crunch, I am getting ready to log off of the live stream. Is there anything you wanted to say to the peoples?
Sure thing. Absolutely. I'll wrap it up for everyone. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us today. It's been awesome diving into the content examples and the ToSav project live. We really appreciate all your questions and your company. Remember, we're all about creative freedom here at Oranje 4v4 and DCF, and we love having you along for the ride. So until next time, keep experimenting, keep building, and we'll see you soon.